Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Stampin' with No. Appreciate you tuning in. Today's project, I'm going to show you how to make this cute little candy bag. It holds 4 of the little mini Hershey's. Makes a great item if you actually do craft fairs. A great size for stocking stuffers, or if you just want to give them to your coworkers. Does not take very long to make it all. It's going to feel like there's a lot of stamping, but it goes really, really quick once you get into the groove of it. So I'll leave this here off to the side, and I'm going to show you what products that I used to make that bag. The DSP is a retired DSP, and it is the Under the Mistletoe DSP. But because you're not using a whole lot of DSP on this project, you can just get any kind of scrap paper you have, and I think it'll work just fine. The die that I used for the label is the scalloped one. This is retired. It's the layering ovals, but I'm sure if you're like me, you hang on to a lot of your labels, so almost any label size will work with this project. Then the stamp set is actually found through the online exclusive, and we're going to be using a lot of these items. And this is not used on this project, but this label here, this outline actually goes with the label that I'm going to be using, which is called Labeled with Love. And then the red and white baker's twine is from the mini catalog, and we use about 15 inches of that. I'll go through that in just a second. All right, so the most important part of this project is the candy, and I chose to use 4. You probably could fit, if you move things around, you probably could fit a 5th one, but I just thought 4 was just fine for this size. So we'll need 4 of those. I'll put those right there. And then let me go through all of the measurements and whatnot that I have. So here's the label, basic white, that's from that punch that I showed you. This is the die, the oval die that's retired. Then the ribbon, I say ribbon, the baker's twine, it's about 15 inches, and I have a bow maker, so I wrapped it 3 times and then just tied a knot. Did that beforehand. And I know you probably can't see it, but it's a plastic piece. And this is a pretzel holder bag that you find in the baker section of any of your craft stores, which is probably, what, 2 by probably 11, I think. And I just cut it down to 6. So if you want to add more candy to it, you certainly could. You'll have enough room to expand and add more to it. I'm going to put this here because it's blending in, and I'm afraid I'm not going to see it. Then all these little pieces. You got 2 that you need of 2 5/8 by 7/8. You need 2 of those. And then the DSP, you'll need 2 pieces that measure 2.5 by 3/4. And then the 1 by 4 is actually the candy holder. And you don't see this, so if you don't have red, or if you have a different color that doesn't even match, don't worry about it, because it's not going to be seen at all. And then there's another DSP, and be mindful of the direction. If you have directional DSP, that measures 1 3/4 by 4 3/4. The real red, that measures 2 by 5. The basic white, that measures 2.5 by 5. And then the shaded spruce, which measures 2 3/4 by 7 1/4, and then I score at the 1 inch mark. So I don't know if this is a time where you want to do a snapshot of the measurements. I will definitely have the measurements added in my blog. So if you don't want to take the time to do a snapshot, okay? So let me get some of this out of the way, and let's get some stamping going. I think we're going to do some stamping. I'm going to leave those there since they're so small. And we're going to stamp that. Okay. All, 'All right, so let me bring my colors. And for this particular project, we're using the Black Tuxedo, the Granny Apple Green, and the Real Red. So we're going to start out with this. I'm using my piercing mat because the stamp set is a photopolymer. Let me line that up. Still having trouble with my allergies. I'm going to move the candy off to the side. But it's still there. I promise you I won't eat it. All right, so we're going to work on the back right here. We're going to be stamping all of this. So we're going to start out. Let me bring my... These are all the stamps that are used. It's really... Don't be intimidated by it. It's very easy. It's not difficult at all. Most especially if you're going to do a mass production of it. It does go really quick. It's not difficult at all. Trust me. So we're going to start out with the Real Red. Move this off to the side. And we're going to use the little, I don't know what that is, the circle. And just off to the side just a little bit. There we go. Clean it off. And that's it on Real Red. Let's do the Black Tuxedo. And I will do that Wrapped with Love. It's so cute. So cute. I've actually used this set for an upcoming card class. I missed the ink there. Center that. Still recovering from my allergies, but it's a lot better. The Naughty and Nice is going to be done in Memento. You know, they used to sell the coal that you can put in stockings. I don't know if they do that anymore, but that, you got to be the right person to give that to that has the sense of humor. If you give them coal. All right, we're done with the Black Tuxedo. So now this little wavy line, I'm going to use the Granny Apple Green somewhere. Oh, here it is. And just stamp that up right there. Perfecto. All right, that's it on that particular one. And let's see, I should have stamped the elf. Okay, so we're done with this piece. So I'm going to flip it back over. We're going to work on this label right here, okay? So I recommend, if you end up doing this, I recommend doing your words first. We're done with that. And then everything else kind of falls into place. And this says from the North Pole Elves. So put that on my grid. It's about center. If it's not perfectly centered, don't worry about it. There's enough going on that it's not going to be noticeable that it's not centered. All right, so now we're going to do the hat. You can see right here, the hat. Now I tilted the hat, and I'll do it again. You don't have to. It's made to where, you know, you can go straight across, but I just kind of like that off to the side. Kind of fits my personality. And then the feet, line that up right there. There we go. See how fast it's going? Not difficult. Not difficult. Now, I want to color using my blends. And for sake of the video, I went ahead and did one, and I actually put dimensionals. But I wanted to show you what colors I used. So I used the light and dark Granny Apple for the hat and for the shoes, and then the Real Red for the stockings. Okay. So I'm going to put that off there, and I'm gonna double check. Okay, we're done stamping. See? Easy. Not difficult at all. All right, so we're going to do some gluing now. Get you up there. All right, so let's get this out of the way. And I just used dimensionals to pop the basic white onto the real red label. So I'll do the same. If I can peel this off. And then just center it. All right, these pieces get adhered. Let me bring my silicone mat since I'm messing with little pieces here. They actually go this way. That's why you need to be mindful of your, if you have directional DSP. So it goes like that. So let me get my glue out and glue those pieces down. And it actually ends up being the part of the flap of the shaded spruce that holds the candy. No. Do that. This stamp set I've had, I think it was part of my pre-order. Is it part of my pre-order? No, it was not part of my pre-order because it's an online. I got it as soon as it came out. I do remember that. And I just now starting to play with it. Isn't that the way it works? You have great ideas and just not enough time. All right, so these two pieces, which is the 2x5 Rural Red, 1 3/4 by 4 3/4, it gets adhered that way, and that is actually the piece that goes inside the bag. I think you guys can see that in the camera. So let's take care of that. That. If I had changed colors, this pattern would have been pretty too, but it wasn't. I was focusing on the colors of this DSP because I wanted more than just 2 colors. There we go. All right, so let's see. Got that and got that. I don't want to confuse you with the order that I'm doing things. That's what I'm afraid of. But, all right, so I think for now, I'm going to glue that later. Okay, so the candy holder, which is the 1x4. The way it works, and I'm just going to show it to you. Let me seal this up because we're not going to be using glue right now. So, oops, the way, candy doesn't want to leave. So you want to line it up at the bottom, close to the edge as possible. You know, figure out what order you want your candy. Make sure all the words are in the same direction, and then you're just going to line it up like so. And you don't even see that little strip once you're done. Okay, so that's what we need to do. All right, so I recommend using Stamp and Seal for this instead of glue, because you'll never, the recipient will never be able to get the wrapper off if you use glue. So I would run two rows, if I can get this going. Come on, there we go. I do 2 rows, and then I need to put a little bit here. I just need to add just a little bit more there. There we go. All right, so that's it on that one. Okay, I need to turn it so that I can see the alignment. But the first one is the most important. So just, you know, take your time lining it up. Try to make it centered and flush at the bottom. If it's not centered, it's not really that big of a deal because you don't see any of it at all. Like, that's not even centered very well, but that's okay because it's not gonna, they're not gonna know unless they watch this video. There we go. Don't press down too hard because you might end up breaking, and just kind of bump it up against the piece that's laying down and lightly press. You don't want to crack your candy, break it. All right, there we go. See? You can tell how crooked it is, but that's okay. Not a big deal. We'll work with that. We can work with that. Okay, so now what we want to do is, and I would still use Stamp and Seal in this case. Again, I'd put 2 rows, and then you want to adhere it to this piece, which is then slid into your pretzel bag. Okay, so in this case, I glued it down further and left a little room up top so that you can see the DSP, and I'll just do the same thing. All right, so let me bring back my Stampin' Seal. And 2 rows. Easy. Oop. Didn't want to get started there when I turn it. There, put a little bit more. All right, so let's see. Be mindful of the directional and make sure that your words are not upside down. Now this you need to try to center as best you can. And I would start at the bottom and then just have everything kind of go in and press just a little bit. You might want to turn it over. It might be a little bit better to press it. And then you might have to work it a little bit to get it into the baggie, but it should be fine. Let's see what happens here. Now that I'm on camera, see if I struggle. Nope. Awesome. I struggled with the first one that I did. Okay, and there's a little bit of room, you see, right in there, and that's okay. We need that because that's the part that's going to get stapled. All right, so we are done gluing. Now we're just, I think I'm done with that. All right, I'm going to bring this over, and let me go ahead and fold and burnish this piece. So before I actually staple, I'm going to show you what we're supposed to do. So that the bag is going to lay like this, and you're going to want it, I don't know if you can see the glare, probably the shine. You want to put the bag up at the top, and you're going to end up closing this flap. You might have to bring it down because you want this paper, this cardstock, to be shown. You don't really want to hide it. And then you're going to add a staple here and a staple here. Okay, so you want to make sure everything's lined up left and right, and that you can see the cardstock. And I'm going to swing it around just so, because I have to staple. Excuse me. And then just 2 staples kind of in the middle. This one I did 3, and it was overkill. 2 is just fine. All right, so there we go. And then these 2, this one gets adhered to the front because you want to hide the staples. You don't want them to see that. So I'd put that there. And then we're going to work on the back. Now, because there's staples, you just make sure that it's glued down really well. All right, so now we're going to work on the back. And I would go ahead and do this first and then line this one up. That's why I was waiting to line this up, because I didn't want to get it too high because it would interfere with this particular size label. I hesitated because I thought I was going to cough. There we go. I'm giving it a really good press just because I can feel the staples right there. All right, so normally I don't do this when there's a project, when there's something underneath it, but I felt like I needed to wait to do this one. But, you know, if you're going to do a mass production, you can get a feel for it, I'm sure, and glue everything down beforehand, before actually inserting the candy. All right, I think that's even. Ooh, looks like it's a little, there we go. And then I would turn it over and then just give it a good press right in there. All right. Super, super cute. See, it didn't take that long at all. I just think this is fun. Okay, so this one I just glued down right in here. So it's about the center. So I just put some glue right there. Just like that. It'll stay. And about right there. Give it a press. Let's see if I can get there we go. Get in between the dimensionals there. And think we're done with the glue. All right, so the only thing that's left, I think that's centered, right? That looks centered, is the bow. And like I said, I just, with my bow maker, I just wrapped it 3 times. You can certainly add more to it, but since it's such a small bag, I didn't want to do a huge bow, just a little something. Now this mini dot is almost double the size of the baker's twine. So as you've seen in my previous videos, you just kind of take it and lightly roll it back, almost folding it in half. And then just put it wherever you want up here. Give it a good press. And actually, I'm not going to cut that. I like that length right there. I think that looks great. All right, that is it. I don't even know how long this video was, but to me, did not take at all that much time. And it was super fun, super easy. And I think whoever's going to receive this is going to think it's just super cute. So here you go. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you end up making these. If you make them for craft fairs, I'd love to hear about it, to see you know, how well it does. I have no idea what I would even charge for something like this. I just know that I just have fun making them. I guess I need to look into that, because that would be a lot of fun. But I do plan on doing a lot, especially for stocking stuffers. They just make great gifts. So thank you for tuning in. Give me a thumbs up if you like this project. I appreciate that. And as always, happy stamping and have a wonderful week. Take care.